Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. The next WASTELESS WORLD Talks are here. Today with Bill, Kevin, and we have a very special guest, Margaret. Nice to see you all here. And let's start. So today's term is important. And I will start with you, Bill, because I have you on the top of a screen. Bill, if you close your eyes and you hear the term important, what came first to your mind?
It's kind of a lazy word. It does not evoke emotion in me. Everybody says everything is important. Yeah, it's a lazy word and does not excite me.
Okay. What about you, Kevin? If you do the process.
Well, when I closed my eyes, I thought immediately of people rather than things. So I think the word needs to be split into two, and important should only apply to things and situations. And when it comes to people, we need a new word, something which, if you think of important people, you automatically, or I automatically think of self-important people. And they're usually unbearable. So I think that importance should be kept for situations, and there should be no such thing as important people.
That's a very interesting answer. And the same question for you, Margaret. So if you close your eyes and you hear the term important, what came first to your mind, please?
Nothing.
That's interesting. You know why? One of the reasons why it is so interesting, it is that I did not came with this term. It came one of my Czech colleagues, which she does not speak English, but we discuss all the time the topics and so on with her several times a day. And she said, what, you will have a 100th event? It's important. And at that moment, the term resonated with me. So I decided to take it. But what was interesting that the noon event, which usually Margaret joined, it was very different. It was really very different from all the others. Somehow it did not energize. It was strange. But I like the answer what Kevin says. Which word will you propose, Bill? As not important people, but what?
I will not propose a word. I would like to discuss this word and see what is below the surface that I have been ignoring.
Not sure. Let's see. Let's see. Do you think that the nature see the same things important as the humans?
I suspect that nature does not make value judgments as to what is important or not important. I think nature takes the sun or takes the wind and lives with it and thrives in it, but does not look to the future as to what is important.
Just Margaret, you can step anytime, okay? I am not calling the other speakers. If you feel like you see the others are not speaking, just came in.
But for me, the reason it's nothing is because it's all the equality. So that's why it's nothing to me, important. Nothing is greater than other. To put importance to something is, to me, to put pressure, expectation. And to me, that's why important doesn't mean anything. If I take something, it's going to be equally, whether I'm speaking, listening, viewing, there's no measurement to that. It's all equality.
If it's so, and we have the same or similar feeling about the term, why it is used so frequently in the society, in the media. We are pushed to the people which are described themselves as important, but we know they are not.
Because the media has gotten lost in its search for clickbait, and everything is important. Everything is important. Everything that comes out of my mouth is important. And that's hogwash. Do you know that word, hogwash? It's nicer than some of those four letter words that sometimes, but everything is not important. Everything cannot be important. Everything is important? Really? I don't think so. But that's what the media, that's what we're used to seeing. I listen to my wife's Zoom meetings with her work, um, and they talk about they'll actually say these words. I'm so excited with this new product. I'm so excited. So we started counting the number of times that one of the speakers said, "I'm so excited." It was 20 or 30 times. No, you can't be excited about everything. Everything is not important. What's important is that you take a deep breath and look at the person next to you. Maybe touch the person next to you. Go for a walk. That's important. So your brain gets all of these competing calls out of its head.
I think it's interesting, taking what you've both been saying, that if you look at nature, in nature, nothing is more important than the other because everything has its place and its role. And the only important thing to do is not to take one of those things and remove it, because that will disrupt everything else. So there is no importance in nature. There is just equality and balance.
I like that.
I have in the morning, I have a discussion with one of my directors. We spoke over 1 hour. He was on a trip somewhere. And we came to the fact that politics and economy is based on wrong principles. So how to change it without a war to be in between. And he liked ants. So he said, in how it's called, the House of Ants. I don't know how it's in the colony. Yeah, let's say in the colony. He said, everyone has his role, his function. And what is interesting, the scientists find out if the colony, for example, burned, then the eggs, or the eggs which should turn into, let's say, warriors, they turn into workers instead, because the colony needs more workers at the time. So it's somehow already in the moment or before the moment of the birth is predicted what the ant will do. What is interesting, if you do not want to, but you step on several ants of 10, the others will immediately step in and do the work for them or instead of them. And it's quite interesting. So it looks like that the nature has this substitution of the roles already included in the system. And he said, okay, so if there will be no war, so how we can get to this original setup of human? And he said, maybe to change the genome of people. But I said, I don't think so, because I think it's inside of us. We are part of nature. It is inside of us. We just need to wake it up.
I actually like the word that Kevin used, which was balance. The equality and the balance of everything going just like in your image. And with ants, I like that. I made a post one time about ants. Collaboration.
If you can go closer to the microphone, somehow it's dropping out. So it's.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better.
Okay, sorry. I made a post one time about the ants and the collaboration and the work ethic of an ant and the size of an ant, and how, we who are bigger than ants and more capable of things than ants, and how we view ourselves like in nature. Nature never worries. nature never asks and questions itself, or nature doesn't ever doubt itself. It just does, right? It creates, it evolves, it comes to being. And so to me, when I think of nature, importance doesn't exist.
So is it one of the terms which has been hijacked even before being hijacked, but from the very beginning it was used to really cover our eyes with something which we should not look at, something which is really, let's say, important to life, but instead of that, we are having more and more important people and important iPhone 16 is more important than the 15 one and. So maybe it's one of these terms which was already from the beginning misused or invented to be used in a different way than everybody or many people suspect to be. Because if the president says, yes, Kevin?
Well, there's definitely better words than important. I think that urgent, if you're describing a situation, would be a better word. And then necessary, if you're talking about an object or a thing or an action which needs to be taken. And yeah, then we can get rid of important people altogether, because we don't need urgent people and we don't need necessary people. We're all necessary.
What is the opposite of important? Meaningless, perhaps?
I think equal.
Uh,
I believe to me, we should put more value in something. To me, the word that comes up is value. Not importance necessarily, but value. What you value. What value do you put in what?
Bill, you said that you are not asking if you meet someone, you are not asking anymore, how are you? You put another question on the table at the beginning of the discussion.
at a network, when you're introducing yourself and you shake hands with a new person, exchange business cards, and you say, we used to say, so what do you do? And that relates back to your profession or how you earn money or something like that. And I disliked that. And I started saying, exchange the business card and say, what do you like to do? And I get a completely different answer.
I think this is connected to the value and to the what just described Margaret. But when you ask about the opposite of important, in Czech I will say non-important, as we have this word as a one word. So we say no important or non-important.
You know, if I if I ask somebody going back to what is it that they do, then when they say something, I'm a truck driver or I'm a politician or something, my head judges that. I put a judgment on what they just said. Oh, he's lower class. Oh, he's upper class. Oh, he's rich. Oh, he whatever. I put a judgment on that. When he answers the question, he or she, excuse me, when he answers the question, what do you like to do? I get so involved in that, right? Oh, I like to sail, or I like to hike in the woods, or I like to whatever. And I'm thinking, yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I could like this person. So a completely different reaction, and my brain engages in a completely different way.
Do you think that to be important, because in some way, at least in my region, in my country, we are being taught in the school that there are people who are important, and the media tell us if you will be important, then you will have more money, you will have whatever. So it set up this impression that the important is something what is a key or what is the really we will be judged according to our importance, and it looks
And
like
that is the big lie in our lives. That's the big lie, that we can be happy if we just will listen to what's important, and that just gives them all the control. Uh, you're following somebody else's judgment. That's so wrong. That's the big lie.
Right.
And you can see it comes into every facet of our lives now, because we have VIPs, and VIPs are everywhere. Everything we do, there's a VIP version of it. It's if you go into a place, there's a VIP exit or a VIP entrance. If you do this, the VIPs will go first. If you're interested in that, you have to go after the VIP. It is
And
throughout our society.
why is that, Kevin? Because they can charge more money for it.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
a lie. It's a marketing lie.
all of you know the picture of Michelangelo in the Sixtine Chapel, where the god has the finger and the human has the finger, and they try to touch. It's used frequently for AI, and many use it for Industry 5.0, which is nonsense. But today in the morning, I was thinking, few months ago, when I realized that, if a robot, which is all the time in the hand of God, is the hand of robot, almost every time. But have you ever tried to touch 1000 volt? It will kill you. Simply, it will kill you, and the robot needs electricity. So it will, or it can, I don't say it must, but it can kill you. But today in the morning, when I was thinking about it, I just get completely different image. And I would like to hear your opinion. For me, it looks like that Michelangelo would like to picture the answer to the question, who is responsible for action? And the God says, you, human. And human says, no, you, God, are responsible. So nobody is responsible. But it looks like to me right now that the importance, many says the God is the most important in some religions, many says human is most important, but the huge amount of people speak about these important people as the most important in a society, which is completely nonsense. But what do you think about this pointing? What do you think that Michelangelo would like to say with this image? Was it really? Because if I give someone helping hand, I don't do this. I do this somehow. I grasp the hand. But this is not. It's pointing finger.
I think that it represents God giving us wisdom and compassion, neither of which we will get from AI.
You remember, Margaret, your call. The discussion was great on Sunday.
I feel that the image represents connection. God trying to connect with a human. He can't really connect this way. It's far too great. But your creator trying to connect. Just trying to connect. It's like when you, like when you're getting touch a volt, like just are static. It's you don't even have to touch it to embody it.
So as you're saying that, Margaret, maybe God is not pointing at us like it's our responsibility or his responsibility. It's a connection, like what you just said. And yet, God is like the 1000 volts that Michael Rada said. You cannot touch him or her or it. You cannot touch. You can come very close. You can come very close, but you cannot touch such power.
100%. Yes. You'll never be able to.
Perhaps.
Yes, that's exactly.
And even if it will be just the transfer of knowledge, the gods know everything. If you touch it and you will try to get everything in your brain, it will boost up. It will just, we will not be able to absorb it. There was a movie about, I don't remember the name, which a girl get this huge knowledge, and it was quite interesting movie, science fiction. But to be honest, I was surprised today in the morning by the message sent to my brain that it can be really just pointing out the responsibility, and I was so surprised about it. I never thought about it. So it's quite interesting. But, these people who are VIP today, they will not give up this VIP role because they are actors, they are paid well, they feel well, they are treated better everywhere. So how to change it? Can we use the term to really get it this? Is there any original, really meaning of the term which is different to what we just described? Because you name other words which can suit much more better, but we don't use them for whatever reason.
Yeah. I feel AI will change that.
You think so?
I know so. AI will. Um, all of the VIPs, like the movie people, like you're talking about the superstars, the super elite, the $1 million making, trillion, whatever. They're already generating in AI.
Again,
Purely.
closer to microphone, please. Closer to
Oh,
microphone.
sorry. They're already generating the AI movie where AI is going to create a film. AI is going to produce it. AI will direct it. AI will do it. And what's going to happen then? All of the superstars, are not, the VIPs are going to be, yeah. I feel that AI will somehow, its mission is to, a lot of people envision the AI as eliminating humans. I feel the AI will eliminate the importance, where you put important titles, the entitlement of, the VIP, where AI will now, it is going to be a creative, and it depends, but it'll never have a human aspect. We need human guidance.
Kevin, I think it's the best for you because you are writing books which will turn into movies.
Yeah, I think if you look at modern cinema at the moment, AI can't do any worse than we're doing. It is not a golden age we're in at the moment. Everything is a remake, or it's a part 5, it's a part 6, it's a part 7. We're not creating original content, and if AI can challenge us or threaten us, then there can only be a good thing, that we got some rivals to actually produce good content.
I was yesterday, there was in Portugal, there was Industry 5.0 meeting, again, without Industry 5.0, without me, of course, but it was quite interesting. The people there speak quite nice. They introduce projects, and everybody of them speaks about human centricity, because Industry 5.0 is about human centric. But all what they discussed was, we will use a drone to make a control of bridge, to control the stability and so on. And we will use this, and we will use this. And at the end, I get the opportunity to ask, which is not frequent. So I did, and I asked them, all of you introduce a lot of interesting projects. That was true. But in all the projects, you eliminated humans completely. Where is the centricity? And not a single one was able to answer it.
Perhaps AI does not eliminate humans. Perhaps it frees humans from the boredom, the drudgery of work, allows humans to do artistic or imaginative or go where they never had the time or energy or money to go before. And I suspect that it's a little bit of both. Because if you are not self-directed, then you will not avail yourself. You will not give yourself the chance to go on these adventures. I think that, looking ahead, we certainly have gone a long ways from working 6.5 days a week, from working 60 or 70 hours a week. Now we're at 30 or 40 or just below that, and Europe has been experimenting with the 4-day work week. And if you look ahead 50 years, how much will we be working? And it's because AI is doing a lot of the drudgery, repetitive work and allows us to do what? That is mankind's big challenge, is now that you have time, what will you be spending that time on? On making your neighbor's life better? On figuring out the world? On it's a progression, and we clearly have been on that path for hundreds of years. So when we talk about AI eliminating the need for man, I think in the next sentence we need to talk about AI freeing man.
But you put the right point, and we discuss it many times, or we touch it many times. What will the human do if there will be no work for him or her in the spare time? I drive today in the morning with another of the directors, and he said, Michael, right now, some of the automotive suppliers here in Europe, they work 3 days a week because of the issues, economy and so on. So 3 days a week. But I never, to be honest, I am trying to be part of many discussions and read a lot of articles. But I never read in an article which spoke about shortening the time, proposing what should the people do. I mean, specific proposals when they will not work. They all say they will be free to do what they want. But this want, we are losing it. We are watching TV. So should we watch TV, be the zombies on TV? Or, the people consume. They do not create. My daughter is right now on a university. It's like kindergarten. Kindergarten has more rules than the university. I am so surprised. It's so crazy. I don't know why it's called university, to be honest. So how do we get, if I take back the term important, how do we not push, but how do we outline what will be really important? Not to be this unspecific, to be really specific. What will we do? What is important for the future?
So that's a wonderful discussion. And it's a wonderful ongoing discussion that everybody on Earth should participate in. And there's a list of things that we can participate in now that we have been freed. On the list are many good things. Write a book, help your neighbor, so on. There are also many bad things, because I can go into the woods and practice war. And in fact, if I practice war enough, I may want to try it out. And so we may become more warlike. There is, you know, after uh, the Dark Ages in 1200s, 1300s, there was the Renaissance. And in a very short period of time, we did a lot of things, including, making the printing press and just many, many things. And I feel as though we are facing this doorway. We are about to walk through this doorway, empowered by AI, which has freed us up, but also enlightened in our brain is how bad war is and how bad being important is. It's not important that you be important. It's important perhaps that you be important to someone or that you know what I mean? And nobody's leading us. The churches don't lead us. The churches teach subservience. The politicians certainly don't lead us. Um, so we have to lead ourselves. You have to lead them, Michael, with discussions of the wasteless world. We all have to lead in our own way. Perhaps we all start with the family, with our own family, and what we can do. But we are on the verge of walking through this doorway into something like the Renaissance.
You know,
I
you know how different will be the world when all the soldiers, instead of going to the war, will start to write books or poems. But it is much easier for the warlords and politicians and those who call themselves important to send them into the war and say it's important to fight for. You know, Margaret, you was there last time or the day before on the event where I don't know what was the topic, but Dr. Anjan, who is Indian, and Dr. Ashad, who is Pakistani. They are plus minus in the same age, and they said, at one moment, they said, Dr. Ash, maybe we fight against each other in one of the wars between India and Pakistan. Both has been doctors, so very educated people, and still they go to war. So I think you are absolutely right, Bill, that we are in front of the gate. And it will be us. It will be nobody else. The others who would like to push us will push us into war because they benefit from the war. They benefit from the scarcity and fear and all these negative things. But there are 8 billion people who must not say yes. But they must be strong. We have 5 minutes left.
I was thinking of the Greek state in ancient times, which was the state of philosophers, writers, poets, mathematicians, scientists. And it was a slave state. So this upper echelon of society, for the first time ever, had the time to be able to develop these things. And so they could think and develop philosophy. They could develop these beautiful long stories, which say the state of man. And that's one offering that AI will give us when it frees us up. But of course, if you think about society in general, the percentage of people who think is not that high. And so it's important not to put any values upon those who don't think, because there is a lot of them, and they need to be kept busy. Otherwise, life becomes extremely dangerous. And you think the Greek state was constantly at war with its neighbors. It was no paradise. So we have to really engineer a society which keeps us peaceful, because it won't happen by itself.
That's right. And it is easy to be evil, it's for some time, it's fun. You know, everybody, or not everybody, but many people, if you look the old black and white comedies with Charlie Chaplin and so on, so we laugh when he falls down and so on. So in some way, it's inside of us. But you are absolutely right. So there should be the thinkers and the tool. I don't say AI should be the slave. I all the time say it should be the tool and use as a tool, and it can be used for good or for bad. Unfortunately, the people who use it for bad, the mafias and evil people, they do it faster because they do it without any limitations. They just do it. They don't think about the consequences. The only consequence, will it bring money? Yes, let's use it. And we see in the increase of a cybercrime and so on. So it's quite interesting. So it was interesting, you know, at the beginning, I was not sure about the term. And right now, again, happened what again every single time for 100 times. We came and we see inside something very different than it was there at the beginning, or what we saw at the beginning. It was there all the time, but we didn't saw it. Margaret, what are your final words? We have 2 minutes.
No pressure. Mindset. So before anything, before anyone, it's your mindset. So where you are, what you want to do, what you think, who you want to be, you have to concern yourself with those things. Your greatness, you were created, your greatness, that's what you were created to be. Why not be that? Choose to be greatness, how you were created from greatness. When you do that, you're not going to do anything bad. But you have to know that. To know that requires you to think on that. That learned behavior that either your parents gave you generationally or society that tells you needs to be eliminated and redirected. You need to now choose to discover what you were born to be. That is greatness.
Thank you for that. And because we have one last minute, let me thank all of you for a great discussion. I hope we will see each other next week again. Have a nice time, free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Be free, be safe, be human, and let's find the greatness, or let's find the importance in the greatness of man. Thanks a lot and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.